Wake your ass up
or take a damn nap.
And we're the three best friends that anybody could have.
It's time.
Sean, you were twerking. That's going to happen.
Murph, don't be a dick all your life.
It's one of the more fun podcasts I've ever done.
Hey, I tell you what, if you're not talking about sports in the man cave, I bet not say you not a man.
That's it.
I played my first week against Arkansas State, and I felt like I had a getting my feet wet game. And called my dad after the game. I was like, it felt good, but I just don't know yet. And he was like, you find your rhythm, find yourself. And the Oklahoma game was one of those plays. I made that play, and I was kind of like, okay, like I think I can play with these guys. I think I belong here. I belong on this scene. I belong on this stage.
A reunion with one of my favorites to have ever covered back in my previous career in high school football. Both all areas of the state of Texas and the state of Oklahoma. Deuce Vaughn, Kansas State sophomore. I've got to ask you, man, have you embraced this new title that you have, All-American?
Yes, sir. It took a little bit of time. It didn't hit me the first couple of days whenever it came out. It was one of those things where it was, oh, man, that's pretty cool. But then when you sit back and you think about all the work that you put in since I was a middle schooler, when I really applied myself and said that I don't want to go and play college football. I want to be one of the best, and I want to work my butt off to try and accomplish that. And to be named an All-American is it's an accomplishment that I'll hold with me for a very long time, and it's really cool because it's kind of like a thank you to everybody that's helped me out throughout that time to get to where I'm at. And man, I didn't do it alone.
No doubt about it. And it has been an amazing ride. When I first saw you on the scene, at Cedar Ridge High School in Round Rock ISD. I believe you were a sophomore. I could tell there was something special, and I knew a little bit about your dad being the amazing recruiter, all the great relationships he had in the college football coaching fraternity. And I just think when you surround yourself with great people and you have great family, good things happen to good people. But Before we dive in your story, I got to give a big shout out to this episode's sponsor, that being Jim Saxton State Farm Insurance Agency. He's a Westlake OG, a Texas legacy. For all your insurance needs, just log on to saxtoninsurance.com. And Deuce, it's been, like I said, I knew that you were going to be something really special, not just the talent alone, just the type of person you are. But for those maybe curious about your story, how it all started, you and I see eye to eye. And I love it when people have doubts because of stature. Right. I love these types of stories because I can relate, but obviously not the same level of talent as you. But don't you find it funny when people mention that and you just smile and laugh and like, you know what? I've heard that in my entire life. You are not going to provide any limitations to my capabilities.
Absolutely. Especially growing up. I mean, it's crazy. People are like, man, like is it like you're always the smallest person on the field? And like, man, it's always been like that. I don't know football where I'm the biggest guy on the field or I'm not the smallest person on the field. So, I mean, it's just football for me. It's one of those things where you kind of have to take that I guess when people say, man, you're one of the smallest players out there, you have to spin it and make it your superpower. It's one of those things where I can't do the things that I do on the football field that are like my characteristics without being this size. It's actually helped a whole bunch. And, man, I've just taken it and I've spun it, used it as my superpower every single day. And every time my feet hit the ground, man, it's one of those things where I'm going to go and get better no matter size or anything like that. And I've always just tried to block it out.
And that's the great mentality. And honestly, when this podcast started as an all audio podcast, it was during the lockdown when it all started. And we were trying to provide some form of positivity, inspiration, and brought guests on and like yourself. And a lot of people need to hear this. You know, this is one thing that I know you're a people guy. You like to positively influence not only your team, but people around you. But the statistical piece, I want to bring this up. And I know you're not about all the numbers and accolades, but just to give people an idea of your statistical resume, so to speak.
Yes, sir.
But, I mean, when you see this, I mean, this is unreal. This is at Cedar Ridge, almost 5,500 all-purpose yards and half 100 touchdowns. And then the numbers at K-State, your first 2 seasons. I mean, you're on pace to break your high school all-purpose yards on the collegiate level, Power 5, highest level. You don't even think about those things. What all goes into you? And you said it best in that open video, that Oklahoma game last year. You kind of knew that you fit in.
Right. Yes, so it was one of those things where, I mean, coming onto the college stage, of course, it was an entirely different beast. The workouts are going to be more intense. The practice is going to be more intense. It's a bigger stage. It was one of those things. Whenever I came in, I was like, man, I'm gonna try and carve out any role that I can get on this team. I'm just gonna help my team be better, whether that be a starter, a backup, a serviceable role player. And it was one of those things where my coaches throughout fall camp, they were like, man, we're gonna allow you to show us what you can do. And I had a really good fall camp thanks to my teammates and my coaches. Man, they brought me right in and put me right in with everything and the entire system. And then like I said after the Oklahoma game, that was kind of like the game where it was like, okay, this is like I think I can play with these guys because the week before against Arkansas State I had a pretty good game, but it hadn't slowed down just enough yet to the point where it was like I was just playing football, stinking a lot. After the Oklahoma game, everything started to slow down, and it was one of those things where, okay. And I remember calling my dad and like, yeah, I was like, I think I can play with these guys. One of the things where like, as long as I take care of my business off the field and
Right.
week, Monday through Friday, I'll give myself a really good chance to go and be successful on Saturday. And man, I mean, I've kind of tried to keep that repertoire and how I do it throughout every single week of my college career, and it's helped me out quite a bit.
The deuce is loose. When you first heard that, I love Gus Johnson when he calls college football games because he has that energy that we all hope to bring every day
Right.
to whatever we do. What was you and your family's reaction when that all started? The deuce is loose. I can't do it like Gus.
He is so growing up, I would watch Gus Johnson whenever the game was on, Ohio State versus Penn State, Ohio State versus Michigan, whenever that game was on, I was tuned in. Gus Johnson on Fox, I mean, he's a fantastic commentator, and he keeps me in the game whenever I'm watching at home. And so whenever I heard that Gus Johnson would be calling my first game against Arkansas State, I was like that's big time. And then to watch the rerun and then hear the way he called, and this is one of those things where like he's this guy that I've been watching since I was a little kid, call games, is calling my name, and he's giving me a catchphrase. He's calling me all types of things, and it was just a surreal moment to even have that platform. And man, it's been really really cool to even like be in the same sentence as Gus Johnson and have him say my name like that. And man, even like a year later now, it's still crazy.
What I find amusing is not only the energy, but I think Gus really is so creative, but at the same time, the comparisons and to Darren Sproles, a guy I watched when I was growing up at K-State. What is your relationship with Darren, who was a great NFL running back, but a tremendous running back at K-State as well?
100%. So during my freshman year, he had DM'd me on Instagram after a game, and he said, "Keep up the good work," things like that. And we've kind of connected after that. And I got to meet him for the first time this past season during the Oklahoma week. He was getting inducted into the Ring of Honor, I believe, for the College Hall of Fame. So he was on campus, and I got to talk with him after practice, and I got to ask him so many questions about just how he attacked the league, how he went throughout his preparation, how he watched film, things like that. I just tried to grasp as much information from him because I'm standing in front of reading the blueprint for 5'6", 5'7" running backs. He did it at the highest level for 15 years. So I'm going to try and sponge all that information from him while I had him there. And I got to talk to him before the game against Oklahoma as well. And then after the game, and again, he gave me his phone number. He said, if I ever need anything to hit him up, and man, I'm going to use that resource for a very, very long time to come. Man, he's a great man. And just from talking to him, he's impacted my life big time.
He sounds like a mirror image of you in more ways than one. Is that fairly accurate?
Yes, sir. 100%. He's somebody that I mean, I would say that my mom and dad have molded me to try and be a great man like Darren Sproles. And just getting to talk to him, you can see that he's a family man. He has kids. He has a wife. And man, you never see him in the news about anything bad. It's always good stuff. And that's somebody that I want to be for the rest of my life.
Well, you mentioned your family. It's so funny how this world works. So I know your dad, he coached, I think, played at Murray State. That's FCS level. Coached, he's a highly regarded name in the college and professional coaching ranks. A scout now for the Dallas Cowboys. Is he taking even a small percentage of that success they're having? Because, man, the Cowboys, I came into this world a Cowboys fan. And is that ever a conversation like, man, we're finally making this happen? We're turning that corner.
Right.
Your dad, Chris Vaughn.
So we're pretty big Cowboys fans for, I mean, probably like, I think since he got this past 6 years, we've been Cowboys fans. And we got there whenever Dak and Zeke were drafted, and Leighton Vander Esch. So we came in at a pretty cool time. And man, my dad's probably more humble than I am. So he'll say, every time we ask him, I'm like, who'd you scout that's been drafted for them is playing pretty well now? And he'll rattle off some names. And we're like, those are like big time players. And he'll just be like, it's nothing. And man, it's just really cool to see, I guess, the Cowboys come, because every weekend I'm watching the games and I'm like, man, look at what we're doing. I mean, we were down a couple of years back, but we're looking really, really good now, and getting ready for the postseason. Man, it's just really cool to see that turnaround and get to experience that, and I mean, have somebody on the inside of the Cowboys family.
Yeah, it's beautiful, and I think Dak has reached that level where he is not the same quarterback he was
Right.
3, 4, 5 years ago. And then Dallas, if they can just keep both running backs, guys, you've got to have a 1-2 punch on every level.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 100%.
Are you a mentor to the backups at K-State? Like,
yeah. So it's crazy. So we had a pretty cool 1-2 punch at Kansas State. Joe Irvin. He was a really good running back. I believe he had about 400 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns this season. He's transferred on to Middle Tennessee State to go and be a number 1 back himself. And man, he deserves all of that, because he's a really, really good football player. So we were like the 1-2 punch this past season for Kansas State, and that's my dog. He's a year older than I am, but that's my dog. That's he's gonna be somebody I call brother for a very, very long time. And now I've been a mentor to the younger running backs. We have 2 freshmen that came in this past season, and they're probably going to be thrusted into a bigger role coming up into this next season with some transfers and things like that. So getting them ready, helping them dive into the playbook how I dived into it whenever I first came into K-State, and just giving them some pointers and some things that I use to be able to grasp this playbook, because, man, our playbook is not something easy you can be like, okay, got some hand signals and let's go. I mean, it's an style. Pro style offense, and man, it could take some time to really get used to, but once you do, you're able to play fast. And that's what I've been telling them is right now, while you're thinking of stuff like that, you're never going to be the player that you were in high school. Once you get that playbook down, you know exactly what you're doing. It allows you to go play fast, and man, all those abilities that you have, the juke moves, the spins, the stiff arms, will all start to come back out. Yes, sir.
Things develop, either you have it or you don't. But I think what's amazing when you see somebody just all of a sudden have confidence. Confidence is key in every aspect of life.
100%.
Have you seen that with other teammates at K-State, where they're not getting it because of what's between the ears, so to speak, and all of a sudden that light bulb goes off, and it's because they're confident?
Absolutely. You see it all the time with younger players.
Right.
We've had some young players be thrusted into some bigger roles throughout the season and things like that because of injuries and stuff like that. And it's really crazy because the player they were in fall camp compared to the player they are in week 8, are completely different because you're coming in to fall camp and man, I kind of know the playbook, but I'm still iffy on some things. So I'm thinking a lot. I'm like, man, do I do this? So you're not really letting it loose and going and playing. And then, I mean, the more you rep and rep and rep, and that's one thing that about K-State is, man, you're going to get reps. We double rep a lot of things. We do a lot of young guy stuff to get everybody developed. And once you get those reps, and I'm telling you, reps bring confidence. And the more you do it over and over and over again, you begin to master it. And then, I mean, it's crazy. We have a couple of players that you just see every single day they step onto the field day after day to get more confident. They're starting to run faster. They're starting to get into their fits. And it's really, really cool to see because you're like, man, this guy was here in training camp. You're like, man, I don't know if he's going to make it. And then you get into week 8 and he looks like he's going to be the next big thing. And it's really, really cool to see because those are your brothers as well as your friends. And all that work that they put in is really starting to pay off.
I have to admit this, and a lot of people, they don't get it until they visited the Little Apple, Manhattan. I've only been there 3 times. And I have to say, and I know it only seats, 58,000.
Yes, sir.
But it is perhaps one of the best game day environments in the entire country. How do you tell people what it's like playing at Bill Snyder Family Stadium?
Man, it's really, really, it's a really, really cool experience. We implemented a walk into the because they like tailgate a whole bunch. So we implemented a walk from about 100 yards from the parking lot into the stadium, where the main tailgating is on the lot right outside the stadium. So to pull up, and man, the best way I can describe it is you pull up in your bus, and there's just, I mean, it's a waves of purple. It's like a entire, I mean, like collage of purple everywhere. Purple hats, purple shirts, purple shoes, purple pants, and everybody is just in love with K-State and what it's done for them. And it's like a big, big family atmosphere. Whenever you pull in, you get out, and whenever you get out, and everybody's trying to give you high fives, you're giving autographs. They're telling you good luck and how much you've done for them and their family. Just to have that gateway to come out and watch the Cats on Saturday. And man, when you get inside the stadium, from all the traditions that the student section does to all the fans in the stands, and man, they pack it out every single weekend. And when it's time to get rowdy, they get rowdy. And to run out and have the fireworks going off, have the smoke and the fire, and to look up and see all these fans that are loving and genuine and caring and saying, man, this is our team on this field. This is what we have here in Kansas. And they rock out for us. And it's one of those things where every single weekend, whenever you get to play inside of Bill Snyder Family Stadium, man, you cherish it because those people in those stands, man, that's what it's all about.
Back when I was in Oklahoma City, I kept seeing this acronym, EMAW, EMAW. It took me, and listen, I'm more intelligent than this, but it took me a while to understand. I just flat out asked, explain to the people, if they see it on Twitter or what, hashtag EMAW, what that stands for and what, if you know the story behind it.
Absolutely. Every man a Wildcat. One of those things that whenever I was getting recruited, I saw everybody going hashtag EMAW, and I was like, man, what's that stand for? And I had to ask around. Every man a Wildcat, and man, it's true. Every man is a Wildcat. When you step inside those lines, and Kansas is really KU or Kansas State. Whenever you get there, so you find out really quick. Man, those people inside of that county inside of Kansas that are K-State fans, man, they're all Wildcats, and it's like a big time family. So every man a Wildcat really, really implements that family vibe that they give off, and man, I'm just so happy to be a part of that family and be a Wildcat.
Hey, before it is really a unique environment. I know Bill Snyder really turned that program around, and then, you know, the story of that coaching tree, the Stoops brothers, and everybody, Coach Venables.
Yes, sir.
It's a special place, and I highly encourage everyone to go see Deuce while he's still there and to experience what that game day environment is like. Before we move on to my favorite part of the first segment, the Man Cave story, I have to give a big shout out to, we're onboarding a new sponsor. Happens to be somebody it was a fellow Anderson Trojan. And it's, you know, real estate is really hot here in this part of Texas, well, all across Texas. But this is our new sponsor. It's a reveal of our new sponsor. All right, Kevin Hutchison, another Trojan for life, fellow Trojan for life. Kevin Hutchison, Realty, Austin. Tremendous guy who's been involved in the real estate industry for a couple of decades, and he does it right. He has the same personality as the Deuce Vaughn. Very humble, very personable, and will do anything to be a success. And I'm not just saying that, but it's just funny. There's some parallels here. Deuce, man cave story. Is there one in particular, maybe from growing up with your family, with Coach Robinson and Cedar Ridge Raiders, and a locker room story, anything with K-State, that a story you love telling because it draws quite a bit of laughter, maybe?
Absolutely. So I've given it a lot of thought about which story I was going to go with, and the first thing that really popped into my mind was it's kind of like a welcome to the NFL moment for me. It was welcome to college moment back my freshman year. So there was a linebacker. I mean, a fantastic linebacker. He was a hybrid safety as well. And he's on the practice squad for the Chiefs right now. Elijah Sullivan. He's somebody that impacted my life big time. He became a friend throughout my freshman year before he ended up leaving. But it was fall camp. I believe it was the first day of pads. First day. And they kind of thrusted me into the fire a little bit to try and see what I could do because I had a pretty good summer and things like that. So Coach Anderson, we want to see what you can do, man. I was like, all right, yes, sir. So it's first day of full pads, and we're in a team setting. And so my coach, I just learned blitz pickups and pass protection. So I'm like, okay, I think I got this, right? And so it's ones versus ones right now. So it's like my first time up with the ones, and I'm like, all right, like it's time to go, right? Get your mind right. And so we're going, and they bring two double A gap pressure. So they're walked up, and I'm like, all right, go and strap your helmet up. You have to get in here. And mind you, I'm about 165 at the time. I've added about 10 pounds of muscle. But I was about 165 at the time, and Elijah, I think he's about 220, and he's an athlete. So it was 60 combo protection, so 6-man protection, and they went ahead and 5-0'd it. So they went ahead and matched, and Elijah was mine. Everybody pointed at somebody, and nobody pointed at Elijah. And I was like, all right, that's my guy. And so they snapped the ball, and boom, he's blitzing. I'm like, all right, you got to go pick it up. I go. I put my head in there, boom, ran over. I mean, flat. I'm talking about back was on the floor, legs up. He's running. He touches the quarterback. He starts celebrating. I remember sitting on that ground, and I'm like, man, that hurt. And I mean, it's crazy. After that play, it was one of those things where like, this is the real deal. Nobody had hit me like that while I was pass protecting ever in high school. I rarely pass protected in high school, just from the mere fact that either they were handing the ball off and we were throwing it, it was a quick throw. And so whenever he hit me like that, I sat up. I mean, I had to put my helmet back on in a different way. And I was like, okay. I was like, I mean, Coach Hanson looked up. He's like, that's going to happen. I was like, I guess so. My head's ringing. And we had to get back out there for the next play. But I'll never forget that. It was one of those things where it was like a welcome to college moment. For sure, because man, I never been hit like that ever, and after that, I learned real quick that you have to drop your pass just a little bit more in college. But I'm really thankful that happened because man, I've taken it seriously ever since.
And that's one of those reality moments where you realize the speed and the strength of the game is a
100%.
little bit different.
it was just a little bit faster and a little bit stronger. But no, I love telling that story just from the fact that. Even though I got put on my back, I got right back up, and it was time to keep chugging along. Those things we got to face adversity like that sometimes.
And it's made you not only a better player but more aware. Correct?
Yes,
you need to have those types of moments. Absolutely. Everybody. And
yes,
it's what before we take a quick break and head to segment 2. what are some not moments, but things you have learned from that? Well, how have you changed from your freshman season to this season? Because I know it's kind of like the story of life. We have to continue learning.
Correct. Yes, sir. One thing that I've learned going from freshman year to sophomore year was freshman year, you can get really, really caught up on Saturdays. Man, I want to get to the game. I want to go play. I want to go play. And you end up kind of doing yourself a disservice. And I mean, this kind of goes into life as well. I found myself rushing through days to try and get to Saturday, and I was missing out on a lot of stuff. So my sophomore year, I was really starting to take the college experience, watching film, working out, and things like that. So I started taking it to the point where it was like, hey, this is something that like you need to set your feet in and really have to do on a day-to-day basis. And man, it's helped me engage in the game better, engage in my life better, just from the fact that I've been taking it step by step and not trying to rush through something. If I have work to do, man, sit down, do your homework. It's something that is relevant in your life right now, and you're going to get to Saturday when you get there. From watching film, really engage into it. Take the time to try and get something out of it, not just trying to be, oh, man, I got to do this so I can be ready for Saturday. Really take some time to grasp everything that you can, and man, and especially with hanging out with friends and things like that, and whether that be in the locker room and spending some time talking to somebody before you try to rush out of the locker room and try to get home so you can go lay down and take a nap or something like that. And that's one thing that I've really taken from my freshman year to my sophomore year as I've grown is you kind of have to have your feet in the right place and where you're at the time and not try to think ahead and things like that.
That's sage advice, because I hear these stories. I've heard these stories quite often. You learn simple things like hydration, sleep, time management.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still trying to learn time management at my stage of my life.
I will say that time management is definitely something that I'm not great at. I mean, man, I can write things down and be like, all right, on a T, that's how I'm gonna do it, and then something gets messed up and I'm done. I'm just like, all right, it's gonna have to get done when it gets done. That's something that I'm gonna have to work on for a very long time.
I think it's going to be a lesson we learn until however long we're on Earth, we can do things better. Because I want to tell you a secret. I'm a procrastinator sometimes.
Yes, I will attest to that. I am a procrastinator as well. Yes, sir.
That's hilarious, man. I don't feel alone, man. I appreciate you, Deuce, for
no doubt
boosting my self-esteem a little bit that I'm not alone in this.
Yes, sir.
Hey, we're going to take a quick break, and we're gonna, on the other side, we're going to talk about the legend that John Madden was and talk about the Texas Bowl that you're about to play in with the Deuce Vaughn. That's coming up on the other side of this break. For all of your insurance needs, look no further than our primary sponsor, Jim Saxton State Farm Insurance Agency. The ATX OG has been insuring Austin for over 3 decades. And get this, Jim Saxton is a Longhorn legacy. He is the son of the late, great James Saxton, who was a Heisman finalist. Be sure to give him a call, or better yet, visit his website, saxtoninsurance.com, and tell him that the stories inside the Man Cave Boys recommended you. Hey, segment 2, episode 108 with the Deuce Vaughn. And this segment is brought to you by Farmhouse Delivery. It's organic produce, organic meats grown right here in the great state of Texas. I recently started using it myself. All you have to do is go to farmhousedelivery.com. You can order meal kits, produce, meats, and you fill your cart. But at the end, on the promo code, type in Man Cave and receive 20% off your first order. That's a pretty good deal. And Deuce, I got to admit to you, I'm now a fan of spaghetti squash because of this.
Spaghetti squash. Yes, sir.
It's yeah, I've sampled it before, didn't really like it. I tried it from Farmhouse Delivery, and all of a sudden I like it. I don't know what it was. It just tastes different. I don't But I still eat meat. I just don't want to. I don't want you thinking I'm a vegetarian, but there's nothing wrong with those who are.
Yes, sir. Spaghetti squash. I may have to see what that's talking about.
I'm trying to. You can actually shred it
Really?
to look like pasta noodles, but it's spaghetti squash. I
Yes,
just,
sir.
there's our. That's our vegan lesson of the day.
No doubt. No doubt. Yes, sir.
Hey, yesterday we lost one of the greats of the game, that being the Hall of Famer John Madden. You and I, and even your dad and your parents, our generations, we know him for being that announcer, the voice of the video game. Is there one in particular moment that maybe your dad may have had with John Madden, or what? What do you, when you think of him, what comes to mind first?
When I think of John Madden, I think of, whenever I was growing up, I was a big time. Watching the NFL, watching things that were in the past, like Barry Sanders. Man, I wanted
Right.
to watch anything that could connect into the past game of football. And every time you're watching a game, you hear this voice, and it's John Madden. You're like, man, who's this guy that's talking like this? He has a voice that, it sticks with you, and the way that he commentated football was so intriguing, and it really brought it to life. And you knew him as a great coach as well. I knew him as a commentator just from the fact that I heard his voice on the video games that I played. Madden. He was the face of the video games while I was growing up, and he still is. He will probably be for the rest of time. It's one of those things where every time I still play Madden to this day.
Yeah.
So I pop on the video game, there goes his name right there. Madden 2022, Madden 2023, things like that. And the fact that for him to have an impact on me like that, and to hear his voice and be like, man, like this is a guy that's brought this game to life. And
Right.
to hear the stories and get to watch I know there was a movie or like a documentary that came out, I believe yesterday or 2 days ago, and I got to sit down and watch it a little bit, and to really see the impact that he had on people. And man, it's something that he'll stick around. He's a legend. His name will live on forever, and he deserves every single bit of that recognition, because he's somebody that's impacted my life in just the short time that I've been on this earth.
That sums it up the absolute best way. Transcendent guy who affected so many generations and thousands, probably millions of people. And just, it's funny, those sound effects he made. Boom! When they were running
Yes,
back.
sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, for me, I the video game, the telestration. He'll
Mhm.
point out and on those Thanksgiving Day games,
Yes, sir.
the turkey leg, and when he was commentating about that made even a non-football fan tune in and take interest. And rest in peace to a great one for
Absolutely.
sure.
Yes, sir.
My favorite time of year is college bowl season, and you're a part of it. And you guys are preparing to play LSU in the Texas Bowl. I can't remember. Is Coach O, is he going to be coaching LSU in this game?
No, sir, he's not. They have an interim head coach right now. Yes, sir. I remember that.
These we saw last night. Texas Tech just totally dismantled an SEC opponent. Do you buy into all this hype people make of the bowl records, SEC versus Big 12 and whatnot? Or do you believe it's just a matter of who can prepare the best in that longer period of time?
Absolutely. I believe it's who can prepare the best. I guess today is the 28th or 29th, so it's been about a month and 2 days since we've played a football game. We played on the 27th of November, so you have, over a month to get prepared for. In LSU, they're I guess you could say, like, their name precedes themselves. You know all about LSU whenever they get turned on, and you see that in film whenever you're watching them. They have the guys that are long, athletic. They can run. They're really good football players and a really good football team. And to get prepared for them, it's really one of those things where you can't really buy into. Man, this is an SEC team. You have to really worry about yourself. You have to worry about K-State, and all the work that we have to put in to get ready for this game on the 4th, so we can go out there and be as successful as we can as a team. And really, I mean, we talk about this as players, as teammates, and as coaches. Is that, man? We're gonna be worried about ourselves, and we're gonna take care of everything whenever we get inside those white lines on the 4th. And as long as we take care of everything we need to know, man, we won't have any pain and regret. It'll all be pain and discipline. We'll go out there and we'll play as the best that we can and the best we prepare for this team.
Coach Kleiman, your head coach, tremendous amount of success at the FCS level, North Dakota State. Obviously, these bowl games, some people say they're not that important, but they are. I mean, as far as not only just recruiting, but momentum.
Right.
Coach Kleiman, what is the secret sauce with him? Because he is of championship pedigree.
Absolutely. The first thing that Coach Kleiman told me on my recruiting visit was that, I mean, he had just finished up his first season at Kansas State, and he said that we're going to build a winning culture here. He said that's one thing that he did at North Dakota State, and that's one thing he's going to do here is he's going to build that culture of great men, great players, and then just people that are going to be genuine, caring, and we're going to have a great football team. That's one of the things that I bought into. And, man, I've seen it every single day since I've been here at Kansas State is that we're building this culture that, I mean, man, you're paying forward the dues of somebody that was in the past, like a Darren Sproles, man. I'm playing for him, and I'm playing for these guys that are with me side by side at practice throughout these runs in the winter and the summer, and then throughout these games throughout the year. And he's preached that culture to us, and we're really starting to implement it. And he's really starting to give us the keys to the program. He's like, hey, if y'all have a suggestion, if y'all want something that's to be done here, that you think you help us win, help us be a better team, he was like, just let me know, and we'll be happy to help. And some of those things that, I mean, it's really, really cool to have a players coach like that throughout your college time playing football, because it makes it really fun.
I've watched him from afar, and I have people think, well, he inherited a program at North Dakota State that was championship level, but to maintain a program, you have to be talented as a coach and a staff
Right.
to maintain. But how I have to ask you this: I was so excited when you guys came to town to play Texas, and I know it was a weird situation for Texas this year, having faced Texas. What was your perception of Texas? Because, you know, when a new coach comes in, there's changes, there's players. It's just human nature that some people are going to be on board and completely bought in. But they seem like they played completely differently against you guys.
Yes, sir. It was one of those things where we're coming into the game. We knew we had a short week. We're playing on Friday. We had just played Baylor on Saturday.
Yeah.
And so getting ready for this game, we knew that Texas was going to be ready to go. It was one of those things where they have a really, really good football team, and they have faced some adversity throughout the year. Then their record really doesn't precede the players that they have on the football field. And I mean, they had some injuries throughout the year. I mean, man, their entire quarterback situation, even during our game, was a little all over the place. And but we knew that we were going to get their best shot. It was one of those things where we prepared and we were ready to go. And man, they had the ball bounce some ways for them, and we didn't capitalize on some things that we probably should have. It was one of the things where we beat ourselves more than they beat us. And I mean, they're a really good football team. Their record doesn't really tell the whole story on the type of team that they have. And man, it was one of those things where we kind of beat ourselves in that game.
Right. I agree. And I agree on everything you said, because number one, you guys uncharacteristic in some ways. And then the season Texas had, not indicative through the, I've never seen anything like that before, as far as two different halves, almost every game.
Yes, sir.
Except Louisiana. They did play well against them. And I went up to Arkansas, and I was like, whoa, that was a reality check of, you know, when you have too much youth in certain areas, I think, and I don't know. I don't want to speculate. I just never have seen anything like that with any team. Now, you know Oklahoma all too well. You play well against them. And it's a unique situation for them because Lincoln Riley took the job at USC. regardless of opinions. That was kind of in this modern day, expect the unexpected. But the legend, Bob Stoops, comes out of retirement as an interim to coach this team and help recruit in the Alamo Bowl. I don't know if you knew it. He's also a partner for Rock and Roll Tequila.
Really? I think
And,
I've seen this.
yeah. So you've seen how, like, I'm trying to remember what team was it? There's whatever corporate sponsor of a bowl, they'll pour whatever it is on the coach. Whether
Right.
it's like the Cheez-Its Bowl. I think Jay Norvell with Nevada had Cheez-Its poured all over them last year. Whatever bowl game they went to, Coach Gundy had Cheez-Its poured all over him
Yes,
that same game. So this was a brilliant question at the last media availability at the Alamo Bowl. I can't wait to get your take on this. This is hilarious. Coach Stoops humors it, and Jason Kersey, a beat writer there in Oklahoma City, asked him the question in the most humorous way possible.
We've seen bowls douse coaches in mayonnaise, Cheez-Its, etc. I'm wondering what you would think about a tequila bath, specifically a rock and roll tequila bath.
That'd be okay. What's the administration gonna do? Fire me? so I'll be sending Brian some when the game's over. Some rock and roll tequila. That's funny.
That's pretty funny. I'd seen that interview, and I was busting out laughing just from like that. What's the administration to do? Fire me? That's funny. A tequila bath wouldn't be too bad. Probably made a little burn a little bit, but hey, we're here for yes,
oh my God, that was Stoops is definitely comfortable in his own skin, and I love it. I had 6 great seasons up there covering him. Great program. You faced him. It's just a different type of program up there. I want to share a picture. It's actually one that you sent to me. Kind of describes who you are, or shows how you are as a person. You're a man of the people, and this is the line of all the people that you talked about earlier, what it's like in Manhattan, Kansas. You gravitate to kids. You know what it's like when we were that age, the young man's hand that you're shaking, holding. You idolize people like you. It's just a big part now that roles are reversed. I mean, what is it about you that you gain as the person you are from greeting and physically reaching out and touching young people like this?
Absolutely, it's crazy. I actually talked to my parents about this not a long time ago. Was how the roles have reversed. I was that kid looking up to these college NFL players and saying, like, man, this is a superstar in my eyes. It's somebody that I look up to, and just to be able to say hello or have him greet me would make my day. It would make my week. It would cheer me up so much, because this is a person that I look up to, and he's seeing me. And man, to be in this position, to have this platform, to be able to do that for somebody younger, I take every single opportunity. Some people look at me like, man, you're gonna sit here and take time out of your day to do this? Absolutely, because I know how much of an impact that makes throughout somebody's life, as a kid's life. And man, if I was on the other end, and I was on the other end whenever I was young, whenever it happened to me, it would be surreal. It'd be one of the things that I held on to for I still hold on to this day. And man, so anytime I have that type of platform, and I have this platform to do that, I'm going to take every single opportunity, and it actually makes my day as well. Because I mean, man, it's really big time to have somebody look up to you and be able to say hello and thank them for that, and just get to know them just a little bit. It's really big time.
You know, it's very odd. Well, not odd, but ironic or coincidental. Bijan Robinson, the Texas Longhorns running back, just like you, goes out of his way to not only introduce himself, but to your point, relationships with not only fans but young people, and are important to him. And, I was the same way when I was young. I idolized, and it just made my day when they would just shake your hand or give you the bro hug, so to speak. To give you to this discussion, I want to show you something. A reaction from a kid on Christmas morning received a certain Longhorn Legends jersey. This shows a reaction that people like Deuce Vaughn have on people for a lifetime. Check this out.
Yeah. What'd you get?
What is it?
It's
a Vince Young.
Wow. Is it signed?
Yes.
No way. Are you serious? Wow.
Wow.
Big. That's big time.
I'm waiting for next Christmas. I'm going to expect someone to receive a Deuce Vaughn jersey. K-State. If it's not out there, it's happening.
Yes, sir.
Man, you have that kind of power. You really do. You affect a lot of people. You don't even know it yet.
Yes, sir.
There's not a doubt. When you see that, do you see yourself when you were that age too?
Absolutely. From autographed footballs to jerseys and things. I still have the jerseys that I have autographed from players that played that I could get, and I'll hold on to those for a very, very long time because, man, to be in that position, and man, it's crazy. I'm still in that position.
Yeah.
Even playing today, I got to meet some guys and work out with some NFL players this past off season. And man, I was like a little kid in a candy shop. Here I am, and we're kind of like the same age. And Justin Fields was throwing to me, and man, he's like 2 years older than me, and I'm looking up to him like I'm 11-year-old kid. It's crazy. Jalen Ramsey was there. Isaiah Simmons, DeAndre Swift. I got to talk to him, and it was just crazy because I get to watch you guys on Sundays every single week, and it's one of those things where, man, these are people that are doing things that I want to do in a couple of years, and man, it's surreal. So to even feel that and know that somebody maybe that's 10 years old is doing that and feeling like that, I cherish every single time I can bring that type of joy to somebody.
I think it's also in life, we're never too old to have someone that we look up to or just appreciate as a person. It's a positive influence or even a role model. I don't think we are ever too old to have one of those. Deuce, this is the part where we're about to wrap it up. We want to end on positivity because this society and our world needs a lot more of it.
Hey, man, tell me something good.
Deuce Vaughn, you are, when I look up the word positivity in a dictionary, your picture should be right beside it. You're a young man of positivity. Tell me something good in your world or what you've seen or what you're experiencing currently.
Right now, I'm experiencing a whole bunch of family. That's something good right now. I hadn't been home since July, I guess 10th. Been in Manhattan, Kansas, and my family got to come up for some games and things like that. So I see them on weekends, but to be home for a full week, be home for Christmas, to have that time with my people, the people that brought me up, my parents, my two sisters, and my loving dog, and to just be at home, to celebrate Christmas with them, wake up in the morning, open up presents like we were little kids. And just, man, it was one of those things where, man, my heart was really warm, and it still is because I'm still home, and I'm with these people that I care about so genuinely, and they care about me, and just to have them in my presence is so big time, and I'm loving every single second of it.
See, that's what will resonate with so many people because anyone who interacts with you and is because you're genuine and you appreciate the smaller things.
Yes, sir.
we know how quickly life can change, and we've seen it this last 18, 20 months. And I'll just put this out there, and I guess this could be my tell me something good. Throughout adversity, we use that word a lot, but it's the truth. Some negative adversity that we've all faced. I've noticed a lot of good here lately, not just because of the holiday season. I've seen people who I didn't think were gave back generosity. I've seen a lot of it from those types of people, especially the last 3 or 4 weeks. And
Yes, sir.
And that's what we need. And we need more people to buy into college football. And that, I'm telling you, if any more people took interest in college football, it's already huge, significant, and bought into, just the Deuce Vaughn story. Life would be much more simplified and better, in my opinion.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, no doubt. And you tell that amazing family of yours I said hello, and we are in debt to you. And I hope this isn't the last time that you enter Stories Inside the Man Cave.
No doubt. I appreciate it today. Yes,
absolutely, sir. Man. I'm glad that we crossed paths when you were at Cedar Ridge, and thanks to Coach Robinson over there. I should have called him and had him surprise you on here.
No doubt. Coach Rob, that's a good man.
Hey, that's a good dude right there. I remember, what was that run that you guys had, the state quarterfinal run?
My sophomore year.
Sophomore year. Mm-hmm. That was a fun group. That was a lot of fun.
That was
I can't remember. You guys won. Did you guys win the playoff game at Baylor? Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Okay.
We beat Coppell. I remember.
That's right. That is exactly right.
I remember this game. Yes, sir.
Was that Brady McBride? That was the quarterback?
It was.
Okay.
It was Brady McBride. Yes, sir. And they had Jonathan McGill, who's at Stanford now. I got to play against. Well, he didn't play. He was injured, but I played Stanford our first game, so I got to see him before and after the game. Get to talk to him. It was the first time I've seen him since my sophomore year. So to get to cross paths like that again was pretty cool.
That's amazing. All these experiences are supposed to happen. What the great sport of football, what it affords everyone to do if you get to experience it, especially for you. And Deuce, we're very proud of you. And I know you are in, the OG Man Cave boys. I know Mike Harge. He's one of the guys that was one of my original co-hosts. I know he's close to your family as well. That is a character right there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Without a doubt.
Well, you tell your mom that I hope to see her out where, I'm in pharmaceutical sales now, and that I hope to see her in and about Round Rock soon.
Yes, sir.
That's how I met her, man. And it's hope to see you in Houston. If not, I'll be watching for sure. And best of luck. And man, we appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. For the All-American himself, Deuce Vaughn, and the OG Man Cave boys, Hardball Harge, Coach Mo, and Big Mike, we are out.
You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up.